Welcome to another episode of Full Circle with me, Onyx. And we're just going to continue our journey together, our discussion, as we keep self realizing and keep getting, those personal messages from the universe. And today's kind of lesson or evolution discussion is still on the same lines as the last two videos, how to develop your psychic abilities, but we could really say how to become the person or the greatest version of ourselves. And there is a lot of spiritual bypassing, muddy waters in the spiritual new age world. And let's just not blame anyone, but let's just kind of move on. And everyone's at different stages and comes into spirituality in a unique way. Um, and we really got to honor our unique path. So, once upon a time, I decided to channel angels for a little while to see how it was. For years and years, I wasn't into angels or Christianity or anything like that. But I said, you know what? A lot of my friends are doing angel readings, a lot of them believe in angels. And honestly, I don't believe in anything. It's like I'm open to everything, but I don't get stuck in one thing. And so I was like, let's just go for it. What if? What if you can channel angels? And I always have like beginner's luck, and I had a nice experience channeling my angel. And I was like, I'm gonna get good at this. I'm gonna put in the time. I'm gonna turn it into like a sporting event. I'm gonna train every day, be good at this. Like I have these like really outrageous fictional levels of ideals I would like to reach. And not to say I didn't have some really cool experiences, I sure did. Um, but a couple of the things that the angels have told me, and I didn't really think angels were funny. They kind of match your personality. And one time they were like, grab a crystal, grab your angel, you're good to go. Like, that's how you make it through life. And I laughed to myself because I've never had that kind of personality to say, grab a crystal, grab an angel, and you're good to go. Like, and that was like fun, but it was also a very broad statement. Crystals definitely help you align, help you set space, help you hold energy, help you focus. So, looking back over, I've probably been playing with meditation and spirituality for over 20 years. And I've noticed working with crystals has really helped me um, clean up my vibration, align it better, like dial in, tune in to receive messages. And it also helps with interference. People are always coming from wherever they're coming from, and they're always pushing and unconscious about their energy. I've noticed having a crystal in particular really helps shield those type of blasts versus stones. Stones, I feel, work on a whole different level for kind of like long term, long uh, stamina in energetic ways. I definitely resonate more with crystals. And I remember sitting in a sweat lodge, and the person who was doing all the talking in the sweat lodge started like chastising all the new agers with their crystals. And at that time, I really wasn't that into crystals. Like, I thought they were pretty, but I wasn't like using them as tools. Um, so I just thought the guy was like off his rocker. And now that I am very drawn to Lemurian crystals for my personal meditation and personal channeling and personal evolution, I think that was pretty toxic. So there's a lot of toxicity in spiritual magical circles. Seems like people have a few good experiences and then they think they're in a position to play God. You know, they know it all. So it's hard to keep ego in check. But, which brings us to the whole point of this video. Um, the last kind of funny thing that my angel said was, which was a message to share and teach, is channel yourself. Like, seriously. Like, it just sounds like a. People take everything, I think, in the West, in just modern culture, as not serious. Like, they just go, okay, channel yourself. Ha ha ha, that's funny, Onyx. Or, what a great idea. And they're like, no, seriously. Channel you means really get in touch with you. Spend time with you. Hold space for you, which I've kind of shared in my last videos, is this underlying theme of learning to hold space. And once again, it sounds like one of those flowery yoga things that a teacher might say. And let's hold space for ourselves and our community and breathe. Namaste, right? Very superficial, very light. And no, literally learn. Learning how to hold space is actually learning how to control your energy. If you can control your aura, your personal magnetic and electromagnetic field, that's how you access information. And setting space and holding space means really clean up your room. I will not stress this enough. The more organized you are with the things in your life, is the more organized your mind is and your feelings. It's like a doctor's surgical table. Have all the tools organized, have them clean and clear, and then when it's time to do surgery, it's really easy to grab your tool, do the procedure, put it away, clean up. It it really helps you out. When things are disorganized, it scatters the energy. So I always know when angels want to talk to me. And I want you to get the idea of angels as always talking nice and lovely to you. Throw that out the window. That's our society and culture afraid to have direct communication with a higher being. Angel means messenger. God means whatever intelligent source that is. So when my angel is speaking to me, I'm getting a message, usually of a higher vibration. And when that type of stuff wants to come in, I immediately start feeling agitated in my room. And it's because they need to occupy space, time and space in your environment. So if your space isn't conducive to angelic or spirit communication, like maybe you want to channel fairies and dragons, well then you might want to put a few plants in your room, and maybe stop Febrezing everything and putting artificial smells in the air. Like, do you see how that modern type of stuff will interfere with Middle Earth magic? So it's like, if you want to attract fairies, bring flowers, bring plants, bring life, bring nature into your environment. So if you want to attract demons, Uh, keep your space dirty. Have dead things around. Do exercise all like the seven deadly sins in a space, in a concentrated space. And there you go. So that was really clear on understanding the importance of organizing your environment. It's like you're dialing in with all the objects and things that you choose to keep in your life. So it also might be time to declutter. I found out I can't have any personal objects that other people have given me in my room. Period. If I have one little thing, a sticker, a note, an envelope, a book, a borrowed t shirt, or whatever, the energy throws my room's energy off. My room's energy needs to be just my energy. So then, if anything enters, it becomes super clear. So, let's say, like one of my power animals wants to make a visitation. When it moves into my space, it's really clear what it is. There's no confusing energies. There's no smoke screen. So inwardly, we need to do that as well. When we think about the food we're eating and the people handling our food, their energy is going into the food. So I really kind of pay attention to who's making my coffee and what type of attitude they have. If they have a very unconscious attitude, like I'm just taking up space and I'm being fake and friendly and it's all fake and I really want to be somewhere else, I just won't order. I'll leave. I'll just drive away, or I'll just turn around, or I'll just say no thank you. And so if I have a waiter waiting on me, and once again, they have that same type of energy of, I'm not really here, then I'm like, me either. Goodbye. I'll get up out of the restaurant and leave. Because I'm paying attention to the energy. And those are extreme examples. Sometimes I'll just, energy work my food. Or sometimes just overall, it's not a big deal. So I really just kind of pay attention. So we're paying attention to our diet. Energy or food is information. So what type of information are you putting in your body? All objects are everything's just energetic information. So even shows, it's like, I now edit that. So you kind of become more conscious. And that's part of the purification and alignment process. So now that you're good, I feel like the best benefit of meditation is, you're getting to know yourself way better. Most people get up out of meditation because now they have to sit in their emotions and sit in their thoughts. And if you realize your thoughts and your feelings and really all your past experiences, they're all history and you don't have to be attached to them. You can be like, I'm rubber, you're glue, whatever, say, bounces off of me and sticks to you, or whatever. Like, you can just be like, these were experiences that happened. I once knew this person, and, they affected my life, and I had an experience, and I experienced myself reacting, and I experienced myself emotional. And through that experience, I wrote a story called So and so is now the villain in my story, and this is how I feel, and this is how I react, and I justified this, and blah, 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 blah. And then I can now flush and let it go. So I think the roadblock that everyone has is themselves. Whether you want enlightenment, whether you want psychic abilities, whether you want your ritual to work out better. And so getting to know yourself on just a personal level, journal is a fast way to get spiritual inspiration, divine downloads, and you're just kind of setting up that network, um, that pathway in your mind and in your body energetically to receive divine information. When you feel like it needs to come from a higher being, someone other than you, you're kind of giving your power away. You're not really psychic, you're just channeling, it's channeling through you. So that you're kind of saying you don't have a mind of your own and you have no personal power. So let's honor ourselves. So one of my viewers kind of asked, they were like, I get confused sometimes because I might get a spiritual message, but then I start thinking about it and looking at it from different perspectives. And then I wonder if it was even an intuitive psychic hit. And I'm like, why are you playing the doubt game? And I've noticed this actually with a lot of people. They start psychoanalyzing the spiritual information that comes in. I'm like, in a weird way, you can't do that. It's like you're adding your ego, you're adding another chef into the kitchen. Just accept the information that came in. And so we're looking at self doubt. Self doubt happens because you don't have enough experience. So confidence and competency go together. So if you're spending time with yourself, you become very competent. You become very accustomed and familiar with how your divine intuition works. You're connected to the whole universe. There's no reason why cosmic information you can't get it yourself by being open and learning how that information resonates with you. You might be more physically oriented. You might be more emotionally oriented. You might be more visual. You might just pop in as knowing things like, oh, that's how it's going to be today. You know, so we're always receiving intuitive psychic information ourselves through our own mind and through our own senses. And usually untruth doesn't sit well. So untruth looks like confusion of the mind. Untruth looks like sometimes the negative emotions, like resistance. Untruth doesn't feel good in the body. Truth feels assuring, like feels solid and life affirming. It doesn't mean it needs to be all flowers, love, and light. No, just, oh, that's what's going to go on. So and so is talking behind my back. Okay. So it kind of like puts the end to the questioning. It's like, oh, that story is closed. That paragraph is done. I get it now. And so I think some people do way too much going back and forth. It's like, I don't ask the tarot cards the same question in a variation. So, will my boyfriend come back to me? Okay, you only get to ask that once. Accept the answer from the cards. Oh, well, will he come back in a year from now? Well, you just asked the same question. You just kind of changed it. And then the cards don't work for you. And I would say then your intuition doesn't work for you. So it's like, just receive the answer and let it be. So, going back to self doubt, that's solar plex chakra. That is your sense of self. It also is your place of courage and personal power and like ownership. It's like your royal crown. It's like, put that on, you know? And so that's when we have to realize we haven't exactly cleared out our closets. We haven't looked at our shadow. We haven't recovered the treasures that our shadow has to offer. We haven't looked at our childhood and the inner child wounding and the negative behavior of inner child when they don't get what they want. So, why on earth would you take off your crown and assume the information that you got wasn't correct? Why would you then let your ego take over, rewrite your reality? Why would you let someone else's psychic information rewrite your reality? So, I have a couple friends and they're very psychic, but it seems like a lot of the information they tell me is backwards, upside down, and toxic. And every time that happens, it spins me for a loop. And then I go, I know what the lesson is. It's like a cosmic reprimand. It's like Source wants me to get it from Source, it wants me to go directly to a Source. It wants me to channel myself and just build up that personal self-competence and self-confidence. So then I go, all right, lesson learned. So go to yourself. You are the source. You are connected to the source. Really channel yourself. And that's what this video is about. And part of that is creating time for yourself each and every day. Like, it seems like a lot of people want to do a magic spell or have a miracle happen too late. A scout is always prepared, they said. Get your merit badges, be prepared for life, and all that stuff. And now I see, oh, be well trained. So when an event happens, you're already good. If you're tuning into your body, tuning into your emotions, your mind, and you're also kind of processing some past material and obviously letting it go, trying to live more and more in the present, then you're doing the work, you're doing the practice. So then when a real issue, an event comes up, a life challenge, you got it. You're like, well, my intuition tells me this. I'm so practiced at following my intuition, testing it, like follow it, see where it goes. Like your intuition tells you to turn right, you turn right, and it's a dead end. You're like, oh, dang. Instead of saying, what did I do wrong? Go, okay. And then do it again. Follow your intuition. Oh, dang, again. And then you start saying, oh, my intuition's backwards. Follow your intuition. It's telling me to go turn left, so I'm going to go turn left. Boom, you turn left. Yay, you made it. Oh, my intuition's telling me to go this way, so I know I'm backwards, so I'll go this way. Yay. Now you found out that your intuition works in reverse. You might find your magic works in reverse. So a lot of times when I have visions, when I'm doing physical stuff for like medical diagnosis, I used to do a lot of medical stuff when I was younger. I had, at a certain phase in my life, I was clairvoyant and I could just see into people's bodies and their issues. When I did it long distance, the images would flip. And that has to do with the mirror-like nature of the astral plane. So if I saw it on their left, it was on their right. Knowing that, I didn't beat myself up over it. I would just say, I'm seeing, this red area of your lung burning on your right. And then I would also say, it could be on your left. And then I ask, which is it? And they say, oh, it was my left. Then I'm like, all right. So is it still accurate information? Yeah. So I have a personal, I'm also really dyslexic. So it makes sense that when I'm doing work long distance, it's in reverse for remote viewing and clairvoyance. So in those cases, it's, so I'm literally telling you from my own experience, that's how it is. getting familiar with you and understanding what makes you unique, it's like, okay, I'm totally backwards. I'm dyslexic visually in the astral plane. So I will, so I probably won't gamble, when I'm seeing it like that. I'll actually just ask the person. I'll be like, is it the right or the left? And then we'll proceed forward. So another really important thing is the reason why we don't dedicate, the reason why we're not really into our own spiritual practice, and why it's so easy for us to look outside of ourselves, is we don't really have a vision for ourselves. Like, my vision for myself is blown way out of proportion. Like aim for the stars, hit the moon, great. You know, it's kind of like that. Have a big vision. And so, if you ever watch like Superman, the original movies, like 1, 2, and 3, General Zod, um, and the other two, they were all dressed in black silk. They came flying in, and as a little kid, that seemed pretty awesome. And they also shot laser beams out of their eyes, and they were the villains. They were trapped in glass for being bad guys, and they escaped, came to Earth to hunt down Superman or whatever it was. It left an impression on me. Humans could have amazing psychic powers. And that image has always been in my mind. The other image was Spock using his mind to mind in Star Trek, the original TV series. I was growing up, I was just like 6 years old and stuff, and that was playing. And Star Trek was always playing in the background. And so once again, here is this idea of mind over matter, mind powers. And so when I really look at who I am today and the vision, it's, as a little kid, it's like, I want those powers. I'll do anything for those powers. I want to develop them. But I also want to see if it's real. Can we bring this to reality? And so that's part of my mission, and it's part of my vision. So I've dedicated so many hours to it. It's a lifestyle. So it's not like, I feel like a lot of people just do it when they're bored. They're like, let's just put on our witches' hats on a weekend because we're bored and no one's dating us, and now it's the time to do magic. I'm like, that's kind of very convenient and not probably the right time. The reality is you should probably be having that in your lifestyle every day. You should be living the magical life, living the psychic life, living the clairvoyant life, living the spiritual life. And that's, in a weird one way, kind of developing yourself as a character on the stage. So people who don't do well in life don't have a character. Like, they literally don't have a persona. We talk about our ego being the persona and the character, and I think the line gets blurred. I think, no, literally, we kind of have these characters that our ego dresses up as. So, yes, I have an ego. It's not going away. And you have to have a ego to live, to operate, to communicate. But my ego gets to put on a costume and play General Zod. Gets to play Spock. Gets to play Merlin. Gets to play whatever the good worker, the citizen, the brother. And so I feel like there's layers to it. And so that's why. So when you're living in doubt, you might find yourself in your inner child. Put on, like, if you've developed enough, your personality and your ego, put on a character that actually works for work. When you go to work, practice this character. What does this ideal character do? You know, in a weird way, it's not you, but it's a part of you. This character wears nice clothes, prefers to wear black. This character doesn't swear at work, where you might swear all the time in your own house. So, learning how to play a character role in the environment is really important. So, there's no reason why you should be intimidated by your boss. Know your character's limits. And then you could remind other people those limitations. You're like, I'm just a cashier. I'm not a manager, so we don't need to be having these discussions, or I won't take that personal. That part of the conversation in the meeting was directed towards the managers. So, do you see what character you're playing and how people interact with you? And then you have your ego that we still bring to these environments as well, but it doesn't have to be, you don't have to take things personal. It was work related. So all that just goes to the worker. That just goes to you as whatever job that you're doing. So it's one way to manage in different levels the boundary system for you. And vice versa. I mean, you're a psychic. You don't need to be bringing that to work. You could have the intuition. You could have that going on uh, underneath the costume as the individual. Uh, so the lines do get blurred, but with practice, they don't. So literally, we're getting too far into this. we're getting. Let's bring it in, wrap it up for the closing. So let's close it up, and in your own personal time, channel yourself. Like, first, really get to know you. I think that's what most people in spirituality and religion were looking for. How do I know myself? In healing, how do I know myself? How do I feel myself? Well, that's fine and all, but we're going to the next level. So now I'm actually going to channel me, my energy, my intuition, my connection with the universe. And then it's going to dawn on you, oh, I have a personal higher self, the greatest version of me with no limitation. I'm going to start taking direction from this part of me, this cleaner, purer, limitless me. That's the higher self. And so when you start channeling you, you get in contact with higher self. At higher self level, you've ascended. Now you have access to high magic, the fullness of it. And you're actually a good citizen. You know your life purpose. You might thought it was this, but you got really clear with yourself. You got really familiar with you. And now it might be this. So when shit goes down, there's no apologizing. You are who you are.